And welcome back! We are continuing our research with Scholar Chago, who is looking at sort of the cause and the effects of the plague, that man there, Scholar Chago. And at the end of the last episode, some children ran off with these insect spores, which we suspect could have something to do with the plague. So, you know, there's a threat here of the plague breaking out again, so we need to grab these children. So we're coming out into the Zelen Reach. And I've been a complete twat actually. I forgot to record any microphone input on my while I was filming this, so I'm doing the commentary afterwards here. So just so that you guys know, I might get something wrong, but there you go. So yeah, the children are just out around the corner here. And you can see there's three of them. The first one says, these things are cool. Look at how sticky they are. They are not cool. They are all wrinkled. Ooh, I can't do a very convincing child's voice, just so that you know. So bear that in mind. So, and the last one says, "Is that strange traveller? Run away!" And yeah, they try and run away from you. And this quest is like crazy annoying. So I try and catch this guy first. He says, hi," and like you've got to try and talk to them twice. "You caught me, you meanie! What? This shiny rock? All right, I'll give it back if I have to. Just don't tell the others you caught me." So they just think it's a complete game, and the problem is one guy runs this way and the other two run over there, and you can see they're close. I'm so close to them here, but you'll see they just run through like 1,000 insects and corsairs, and there's no way I can get to them, and everybody like just starts dying. And then I have real trouble actually trying to catch and try and find them again. I was actually really happy with my commentary here, but it's all gone. So yeah, if you guys didn't see the previous episode, I might as well just clarify this now. Look at how close I am to that kid. Look how close. But I don't get him. He just slips away. It's so annoying. Look, the corsairs throw a net on me and I can't get any further. And then they're all killing me, so I have to stop. It's horrible. Yeah, no, if you guys didn't see the previous episode, sorry, I just want to clarify that, oh look, I'm dead. I just want to clarify that you don't have to watch this episode. I'm not going to be doing anything with the main plot here. This is all sort of extra stuff. I'm not going to get any new armor or anything. So if you just want to see the main plot, feel free to skip this. But for these episodes, we're looking at the Scarab Plague, which is this huge plague, as I've said many times before, that ended the first dynasty of Elona. Basically, Elona's history is separated into different dynasties. And the first one is the Primeval Dynasty, and this was when civilization on Istan actually got really big, but everyone on Istan was wiped out literally, and the plague kind of spread to all the other provinces, and then that ended the first dynasty. And then the second dynasty came along, which was known as the Great Dynasty, which I'm sure we'll learn about later, probably during the main plot episodes. But that's not actually been mentioned very much, because you know a lot of Istani culture is steeped in the Primeval Dynasty. So yeah, I'm just going to be killing insects now, so I'll speed it up for a little bit until we find the children. Oh yeah, and I got a vial of white dye there, sorry, which is pretty great, wasn't it? Actually, I don't know if I'm going to sell it or use it. I actually got some white dye on my factions let's play as well, so that's pretty cool. So really, the next little bit of this episode is me running around, trying to catch these kids. So I think the idea is they come to sort of here and then they start just running these big crazy patterns. So first guy I get is Adina. He says, "Mummy says not to talk to strangers, and you're very strange. Bye." And I was so close to catching him, but the plant slowed me down with imagined burden. So in the end, I noticed that Pallid Nam there was closer. So I think he's actually the first one we get. He says, "Who are you? What's your name? What are you carrying? Have you seen the ocean? Are you from Ascalon?" So he's just, you know, one of those typical kids that asks 1,000 questions. He says, "No fair, you cheated. You want this little round thing? Well, alright, I was bored with it anyway." And there's a nice little reference to Ascalon there, of course. I always like it when they reference stuff from the other continents. It just makes, you know, the three separate campaigns feel grounded in, you know, the same universe, which you don't really see enough of, I don't think. You know, on the one hand, these places are a long way away from each other, and they should feel unique and separate, and they should feel like they have their own flavours. But on the other hand, I do think they could do with a little bit more of a crossover. I mean, you never really see a Char here, do you? So, or do you? Mummy says not to talk to strangers, and you're very strange. Bye. And I catch her. "Oh, you caught me. What? Oh, you want this sticky ball? Okay." So yeah. well, you definitely never see a char in factions anyway. So yeah, well, that's that quest done, and we go speak to Scholar Chago again, who says, excellent, excellent. I knew I could count on you. None of the children were hurt, I trust. No, but they did nearly hurt me. It was actually quite an annoying quest. I didn't think it would be that hard. He says, the signed note you found is quite intriguing. Yomind is a name I recognise. He was a famous scholar that was presumed to have died during the time of the plague. Perhaps he fled the city and survived. If that is so, he may have actually studied the plague and written about it. If you could travel to Zelen Reach and find the farm he refers to, there may be more information on the plague in his journals. We get the two options. The decline here is, old man, you've tested my patience, I'm finished it. You know, in Nightfall they really do just realise that the decline option is completely useless in this game, and just nearly every single one is a joke of some sort. So we say, I'd like to see this thing through. I'm in. And one thing I should probably mention actually is I've done these plague episodes in 2 episodes, and I didn't actually realise, but I don't have many more of these plague quests left to do. I probably should have done them all in a single episode. So what I'm going to do actually, oh yeah, and I swapped my heroes out here, at least Susuke anyway, just so we get to use them a little bit more. Yeah, so what I'm probably going to do is, just to pad this episode out a little bit more, we'll do another quest to do with the corsairs at the end, which takes us back to Farina. So here I realise that we're going back to that little village again. All the time, guys, always back up at that village. So I map through and I cut it till we get close to it. And then there's these sun spears that I'm running past that are talking about how some guy's he's too rough with people. I believe he's a sun spear anyway. And we come out for our next clue, which is out on this. We never really came this far north before. You can see it's like this little shanty town. It reminds me a lot of Kaineng. You can just sort of see here. Obviously, a small family lives here with that farmer. It's actually the farmer we want to talk to. You can see there's a warped chest here as well. But yeah, there's just this little crazy place that I look around a bit. I talk to some commoners. I heard the Sun Spears talking about General Kayet. Did she really try to betray us all to the Corsairs? He says, "Oh, hi, Matt Greenspring. You look a little seasick. Are the Corsairs giving you trouble?" And yeah, it's just this cool. I was quite fond of this place. I think it looks pretty nice. So yeah, we speak to the farmer. He says, "Hello, what can I do for you?" "Yomind, I'm afraid I don't recognise that name. You know, there is that old chest though. See, as long as I can remember, that warped box over there has been sitting around. I tried opening it once out of curiosity and couldn't get the lid to move, but maybe you'll have better luck. The thing looks like it's at least 600 years old, so it might be what you're looking for. So the primeval dynasty was about 600 years ago. So that does add up a bit. So here I am looking for the chest because I didn't see it. And we run over to it after a lot of faffing around. And there we go. And we get the next piece of Yomind's journal. The chest is soundly locked. A few hard kicks convinces it to open though, and within you find a small, simply drawn map, along with a dusty note that reads, "My friend, as you have likely discovered, the plague has not been confined to the city. It has only been a day and it already begins to afflict those around us. I have no choice but to take your wife and son with me to the small village of Kamadan and book passage to the mainland." I love how Kamadan's just a small village there. "I hope to flee the plague's effects. I am almost certain now that it has something to do with the grain we harvested, so I hope that the mainland is protected from this horrible malady. When you find this, make haste to Kamadan. If you cannot find me, follow the map I have left in this chest. If I leave Istan, I will bury a message there for you as well. Your wife and son miss you very much. Yomind." So it says that the map seems to indicate a location near the entrance to Kamadan, on the plains of Jarin. And it's quite interesting here. So he's talking about his friend. This is obviously some guy's friend, has escaped with his family, and it talks about this grain. So, you know, we know that the scarab plague was actual insects bursting out of people's skin. And it looks like maybe the people were eating their eggs or something like that. But yeah, we hear that he's hoping to flee the plague's effects completely. And, you know, we've all seen zombie movies. We all know how it works. You know, people try to escape, and then they take the affliction with them. And that would have been how it spread to the other provinces, probably. And in the end, everyone had to leave Istan. That was the exodus of Istan. So we're coming out into the plains of Jarin to find this, see if this guy left another note. I mean, on the one hand, if his friend actually got a hold of the notes, then maybe he wouldn't have left it. But then again, when we opened that chest, you saw like a kind of a magical effect came out. I don't know if you guys noticed that, but it kind of suggests that this guy never got the notes. He never managed to escape. Maybe he was just stuck in the city and he ended up dying himself. A bit tragic, but there you go. That's the way these things work. So yeah, we're out here in the plains of Jarin. And there's this mound of dirt actually. I can't remember if it's here all the time or if it only appears during the quest or not. But actually on the mound of dirt you can see like there's that little scroll on it, just up on the top right. But anyway, it says you dig carefully into the dirt for a few minutes before finding a small wooden box. Within you find a small leather-bound book and a message. My friend, I hope you can find this message. I'm sorry for leading you on such a journey, but know that your wife and child are still safe. Istan has been quarantined, but in the chaos the Navy cannot enforce the blockade. While I was unable to find honest captains to take myself and your family to Corner, I managed to find a Corsair willing to grant us passage for a fee. I paid him an additional sum to allow you passage when you arrive. Head into Camadan and look for a small craft near the docks flying a dark flag with a star on it. Speak with the captain. He will provide you passage to Corner if he has not already fled. When you arrive on the mainland, speak with the Junuli. I will leave a message for you with them. I've enclosed my research on the plague with this message. Even if you cannot find me, I hope that you can use your connections to make sure the research will be put to good use. So the sad thing here is the note was left, it was obviously never found, and this research, so we've got all of Yomin's research now. This research never got out when it was really needed, which is quite tragic, so that's why I like this quest chain really. But yeah, we get a lovely little reference to the Junuli there. Of course, humans were on Cantha long before anywhere else, so the Junuli Guild is probably one of the oldest guilds that existed. I mean, if they were in Alona during the Primeval dynasty, you know, that's saying quite a lot. And obviously the Corsairs are there as well, so they're quite an old organisation, come to think of it. But yeah, that's actually the end of the quest, guys. I thought it was a little bit longer, but that is the end of the quest chain. He says, what is this, a journal? Oh, most excellent. This appears to contain a great deal of very useful information on the plague. A timeline of its progression, information on its origins. Well done. It's a shame this never made its way to the research community when it was most needed. Once I perform some experiments to verify the research, I will be able to ensure that the Scarab Plague is never repeated. Thank you. So yeah, Chago's got it right. I mean, it is quite sad that the research never got out. And the funny thing is that this has supposedly got all information on the origins. You know, if you read the Nightfall manuscripts, it actually talks at some length about how everyone thinks that maybe the plague is magical and no one knows why it came about and stuff. And supposedly the information's there now, but we never get to see it, which is quite funny. So yeah, anyway, that is the end of that quest chain. I'm actually going to go in game and do a live bit now. Where we look at a bit more of Farron of the First City with the Corsairs. We're going to be mapping from Black Tide Den, so see you then. So yeah, here we go. Alright, so this is now live. I am sorry about that hiccup, everyone. But you know what, I actually don't think the commentary turned out too bad there, so that should be alright. So yeah, we are going to speak to this guy here, Guard Kovu, for our quest. He says the swamp has never been a very friendly place, but now with the increased Corsair activity, I'd stay clear of it if I were you. And we're going to get Defender's Choice. It's just a short little quest. He says, I've received reports of a band of Corsairs spotted in the vicinity of Farina. They are led by a man named Ared the Unready. Go and eliminate the band of Corsairs, and maybe you can get some useful information out of their leader. Good luck, Sunspear. So we actually see a little bit of Iron Fist here. I'm sick of fighting Corsairs, maybe another time. No, so we actually see a bit to do with Iron Fist here, which is pretty cool. And yeah, we come out into this exit here, into Farina, which we never saw before. I never really even talked about. It's just, you know, it's another way into Farina, and you can actually come here with 6 heroes, which is pretty nice. So yeah, let's go on out. We will be seeing, this isn't the only time we're going to be ever coming back to Farina, but it will be for this episode. I just want a little bit more to pad the whole thing out. So yeah, this is the southern ends. You can see, wow, look at how small the river gets just here. That's actually pretty crazy, considering how fast flowing it was, if you remember from the previous episode, a bit further up. Oh, is it because it's dammed there? Is that a dam? Oh, that would be so cool if it was. Anyway, yeah, so we're not, oh, we're just literally just coming out here. That's a bit depressing. So these are the southern ends. We will see these, probably next episode actually. So we just take out Arid's crew. And I guess it's just a simple take out people. The end of this quest is actually quite interesting though, so they do some cool, some quite unique stuff in Nightfall with some of the quests that you find around, particularly here on Istan. There's another one out in the Mittani Keys where like you have to speak to a ghost or something and you don't really know you've even started the quest yet, but then it sort of triggers stuff further away. It's pretty nice. So that's 2 groups down, and the third one's down there at the south. How many groups are there? It just says defeat the band of corsairs, so... So, there we go. Okay, so now we need to seek out their leader, Arid the Unready, and force him into submission. So actually, if we wanted to see the southern end, we'd go in through that gate there, and that bit's sort of all really overrun. And here's Arid himself. He says, okay, I give up already. So, you know, this keeps happening with Corsairs. They just like try and pay their way out of trouble. Alright. Best start talking. What do you want from me? I ain't never seen your ugly mug before. So you get this cool little like branch. You can choose to interrogate, or you can just flat out kill him. So you can ask him where the Corsairs are rallying, or say, too bad you won't cooperate. The next face you'll see is Grents in the underworld. So let's interrogate him a bit. So he says, I don't know nothing. You can't scare me. And again, so we interrogate him. Looks like your jaw's a little tight. Maybe my fists will loosen it up a bit. You call yourself a sun spear. My little sister hits harder than that. Still a bit tongue-tied, are we? Well, since you aren't using it to talk, I think I'll just cut it off and feed it to the scale. Or we can try and kill him. I believe he talks after that, so let's kill him. He says, oh my god, we don't even have to fight. It just says, Arid the Unready lies cold and silent on the ground before you. After searching through his belongings, you find a crumpled note in his side pocket that reads, To all seaworthy corsairs, let us gather and meet in Latender Bog. I will put forth an attack that the Istani won't soon forget. Iron Fist. So you can see the Iron Fist there is plotting. Now these attacks that they're talking about here could be the ones that we see as foreign characters while we're doing war preparations. Just a little idea. So yeah, very small little quest there, guys. Almost probably was a bit worthless, but yeah, there you go. Next episode, you guys will remember. Hold on, let's just grab our reward. Well done. Still, it's unnerving that the Corsairs are gathering in Latender Bog. I'm not sure what they're up to, but let's not wait around to find out. When you're ready, speak to me again, and we'll plan our attack on the camps. And yeah, so that's a bit of a quest chain, and you just go in and just kill loads of Corsairs. Next episode, you guys will remember, I think it's twice now we came across it. There was a big funeral, and we're going to do some quests about the funeral, which are pretty cool, and they are what will take us back into Farina. And then I'm going to do one more after that, one more sort of quest chain, which is a very fun one, I think, which is all to do with evil mimes and scale gods. See you next time.